Welcome back to Learn Astrology with Mary. This week we're going to be discussing, chatting about the planet Mars. And Mars is an important planet. All the planets are important in the chart, but Mars is particularly important if you want to know about your energy levels and your attitude towards fighting and conflict. And that's what Mars represents. Now, in actuality, Mars is part of our solar system. And if we're looking at it in the night sky, it does actually look a bit on the pink side. Depends what time of year you're looking for it. You can't see it all year round. And there's only certain times of year where it is visible. But the older Babylonians, they could see it much more easily than we could because they didn't have light pollution. Astrologically, the symbol for Mars is the same symbol as for a man. So it's a circle with like a spear pointing out of it. So that's the sort of male masculine symbol. And that's what Mars represents. So it's like last lesson we were talking about Venus being the feminine energy, Mars is the masculine energy. So that's not to say that we are one or the other, because we're a combination of both. As humans, we just might be more one thing than the other. But where your Mars is located, the sign it's in, blah blah blah, tells us about the three key things: action, aggression and energy. So I work a lot with clients that have energy issues. I've treated over the years bazillions of people that have got ME, MS and various other forms of energy issues. And if they're up for it and they don't mind, I will always look at their chart with their permission and see what sign their Mars is in, how it's located, what it might be aspected by, what might be transiting it, to give us a vague idea of how to make or help that person feel better energy-wise. So, some people need to conserve their energies, some people need to expend their energies. Some people, if they don't go out and wear themselves out completely every day, they don't feel normal. Now, the chart we're going to use today is a lovely chart, like this chart. This is Pope Francis I. You can get an awful lot of famous people's birth charts from a website that's linked to astro.com, and it's called Astro Databank. So if you Google Astro Databank, I think the actual web address is astro-databank. In the top right hand corner there's a search box. Stick whoever it is his name in there. You're going to get most people that are reasonably famous going there. But I chose today that we're going to use Pope Francis because of the nature of his Mars and his chart in general. It's got a lovely fluffy chart. Love his chart. Now, I don't know if you know much about Catholicism, but in the past we've had some awful people that have led the Catholic faith, but I think the one that they've appointed now, good old Pope Francis, I think actually he's a nice chap. Now, he was born in Buenos Aires in Argentina on the 17th of December 1936 at 9 p.m. and we know that this birth time is reasonably accurate because in the Astro Databank notes it's classified as AA, and AA means definitely very accurate. The ratings for birth data were put together by a lady called Lois, is that right? Goodness me, what's her flipping name? Hold on, let me just find her. Her name is, I'm sure it was Lois. She had a funny name. She was a Gemini. Let me go back to the main page of Astro Databank. Hold on a second, I'm just going to be waffling. Lois Rodden, so Loisrodden. She was the lady that started making sure that when people were talking about birth charts, to get the most accurate birth data. So if your birth data is accurate, then surprisingly, your chart's going to be accurate. And in Pope Francis's case, his rating is AA. So AA means it's terribly accurate. Somebody's got it from his birth certificate or asked him, or his mother's given us the details. So with his time being 9 p.m. and being where he's born, his ascendant is Cancer. So his chart starts in Cancer, and that's all about the family and nice fluffy stuff. Now, his sun sign is Sagittarius. So Sagittarians are very much into belief, various different forms of belief, but they like beliefs. So it's not to say that every Sagittarian is necessarily a religious leader, nothing of the kind, but Sagittarians do have beliefs and faith. It could be in their football team, but they need to have belief and faith. And his Jupiter is very near to his sun sign, Sagittarius. His Jupiter's actually in Capricorn, but hey, we're not going to make a big deal about that, but it's very near. It's the next planet on from his sun sign. And his moon sign is in Aquarius. So there we go. Cancer ascendant, family and friendly. Sun in Sagittarius. I'm going to question why and what's this all for. A moon in Aquarius is somebody who's emotionally quite... What's the word I'd use now? If you're moon in Aquarius, emotionally you're quite rational. That's the word. So you're rationally, your emotions don't run away. And his Mars, so get him, his Mars is in the sign of Libra. Now, when we were talking about the signs of the zodiac a little while ago, Libra is the sign of balance. It's the sign of discussion and legality. So it covers law because it's represented by the scales of justice. And anybody that's got a Libra planet in their chart will, generally speaking, not like to argue. I mean, they might start an argument, but they don't actually like the people sort of, fighting and shouting and stuff. So interestingly, his Mars, so this is Pope Francis, his Mars is in the sign of Libra. Now, Mars being the planet of action, aggression and energy, it has an affinity for the sign Aries. We call them rulerships. So the planet that rules Aries is Mars. And he's got it in the opposite sign of Libra. So this would be someone who really doesn't like to argue and wants to be more peaceful or peace-loving. In his particular chart, his Mars is located in the 4th house, but we'll come on to houses later. But this is somebody who really isn't going to go around starting fights. So he's got an air sign Mars, an air sign Moon, a fire sign Sun sign, and a water sign Ascendant. So it's a right old mixed bag. And the Mars being in the 4th house, when he was growing up, there must have been some bloke somewhere who was reasonably... what's the word I'm looking for now? Prominent in his growing up, because the 4th house is to do with the roots and where we come from. So Pope Francis, having his Mars in the sign of Libra, is less likely to go around bashing people on the nose. His Mars aspects only 2 planets in his chart, which is his Moon and Venus, because he's got Moon and Venus in Aquarius, and his Chiron, but we're not talking about Chiron today. We'll come to that in another lesson. So find your Mars. So go to astro.com, get your chart up, find the Mars symbol, which is a circle with a spear attached to it. There isn't another planet symbol that looks the same, because the one for Venus, even though it is a circle as well, it's got a cross on it. So cross with this circle with a cross is Venus, circle with a spear is Mars. I suppose it does look a tiddly bit like the symbol for Sagittarius, because that's a spear as well. And also the symbol for Scorpio is the little sort of M thing with the squiggly bit on. And the squiggly bit, again, that looks a bit like a spear. So obviously the Babylonians and the ancient astrologers were terribly into symbols with spears on. So find your Mars. And it's action, aggression and energy. So in Pope Francis's case, having it in the sign of Libra means his energy levels are more balanced. Now, I've never seen him jogging. Have you? I've never seen him even walk very fast. So his energy levels are pretty balanced, that he's not going to exhaust himself. I don't even think he sits around praying for too long. I think he's quite balanced energy-wise. So find your Mars and see what sign it's in. Now, if it's in a fire sign, you're going to have absolutely pots of energy, depending whether or not it's, aspected by another planet. But generally speaking, if your Mars is in a fire sign, normally speaking, I say it depends what other things are aspecting it, you'll have oodles of energy. If your Mars is in an earth sign, it's going to take quite a while to get you moving, because earth is the slowest of signs. Water signs with your Mars, it really doesn't compute much. If your Mars is in a water sign, you might find that your energy levels are just dire. If your Mars is in an air sign, normally speaking, your energy levels are better when you're engaged in active thought. My Venus and Mars are in the sign of Aquarius, and I feel quite when I think about certain things, I can feel quite animated. So if you're, which is the case here with good old Pope Francis, because he's got his Mars in an air sign, then he might enjoy, quite vibrant discussion, and anything thought-wise is going to re-energize him. Yeah. Now, there's somebody else that's in the news at the moment, and not Pope Francis is, but and that's Donald Trump, and he's got his Mars in Leo in the first house, so in the very early part of his chart. And when Mars is in Leo, which is a fire sign, and Leo is the sign of look at me, 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 here I am, here I am. And he's also got a Leo Ascendant, which sort of doubles up the look at me thing. So that's the fire sign Mars. So be very wary of people that have their Marses in fire signs, because you just don't want to get burned. Yeah. And also remember that they absolutely have oodles of flipping energy. They're just going to go 90 miles an hour and just run over you if you're not careful. So that's about Mars, and it takes about a year for it to go through all the signs of the zodiac. So normally speaking, your Mars shouldn't be too far away from your sun sign. In Pope Francis's case, he's got sun sign Sagittarius, and his Mars is only 2 signs away in Libra. So again, as we were discussing before about Venus, if your sun sign, whatever it is, it can never be opposite Mars. There'd have to be something very strange going on astrologically for your sun sign and your Mars to be in opposition. They could be square, they could be trine, they could be, a few signs away, but they're never going to be in opposition unless I've completely got it wrong. I'm sure that's right. Yes. So at the moment, for instance, let's just check where everything is at the moment. We've got the sun is in the sign of Aquarius, and as we're speaking today, so today is Sunday, the 12th of February, which is my sister's birthday. Happy birthday, Lucy. So with the 12th of February, Mars is in the sign of Aries. Hey, so Mars is pretty happy there because it's in its natural home. And the sun is in Aquarius, so that's only 2 signs away. Yeah. So assuming you've done your chart correctly, your Mars is never going to be more than, a few signs away from your sun sign. It's going to represent your energy levels, action, aggression, and energy. And also, if you've got, for instance, Sun square Mars, your Sun and your Mars are 4 signs apart, with 3 in between, you will quite easily rise to the bait. The sort of person that if you're, doing something in the kitchen is not working out, you're going to be yelling. My husband's got that, but don't tell anybody. So it's quite easy for you to get cross. I mean, my husband's chart's modified by the fact that he's got a Libra Ascendant, and Libra Ascendant people don't like arguing. But anyway, Sun square Mars, if it's trine, that's fine. It's going to work nicely. We'll come on to other things, that aspects later on. But find the sign your Mars is in. Think it's about action, aggression, and energy. It's, are you going to bop somebody on the nose? So if you are Donald Trump, you might not actually bop them on the nose, but you're going to definitely threaten them with that. So have a look to see where your Mars is. It represents your energy levels and your anger levels as well, And trust me, anger's not just a male thing. Ladies can suffer from it too. So I hope you've enjoyed today, just a little chat about Mars in the chart. You now know a little bit more about it. Its orbit is similar to that of the sun, so it's not going to be too far away from your sun sign. The symbol is a circle with a little spear attached to it. Find it in your chart, have a look at it, read the interpretation on astro.com. It'll give you that free. If you just look at the normal portrait, it gives you the burble on your chart. It'll let you know what Mars in the sign of blah 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 means for you. And next week we are going to be talking about, so where do we go after Mars? We're going to be chatting next week, Jupiter. I think that's right. Next week is Jupiter, and then we're going to do Saturn. That's right. So next week we're going to be talking about Jupiter, which is the planet that looks after Sagittarius, which is good old Pope Francis's chart. He's a Saggy. So have a lovely week, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye now.